Hi everyone. In this video, we will see the key concepts that we need to understand or know before we start our programming of Java. These are the basic concepts that we need to understand before we step into starting the programming language. So, one is the variables. What is a variable and what is the keywords? What is data types we have in Java? What are the operators we generally use in our Java programming and the loops? Variables is nothing but a name given to a data type. Okay, so we have different types of data types in our Java programming language. We have nothing like we are going to give a name for a data type. So that name we can use it in our programming language instead of that value, and we can use the same variable for initialization, for assigning, for calculations, for operations and everything. And complete the variable will be using only the variables, not the value given assigned to that data type. Okay, so the rules that are required to create a variable, it must start with alphabets. So I mean, like, if you want to name your variable with numbers, like starting with 1, 2 or 5, 6, some numbers, so that is highly not recommended to give a name with a starting with a numbers. So most of the time we'll try to create a name that is a readable, easy understandable, readable format. Okay, and no symbols is allowed in your variable. Like, we'll give and operate and ampersand, exclamations, and some other symbols that we have placed or minus some symbols. So that is strictly not allowed to define a variable name, and no keywords are allowed as a variable names. So as I mentioned earlier, we have one of the concept called keywords. So I will explain you what is the keywords. We should not use any of the keywords that we have in Java which are reserved, should not be used as a variable name. And recommended options is try to use the variable name in lowercase or a camel case. Like, if you have a variable name with more than 2 words, then the first word start with small letter and the second word should start with capital letter. So that is called camel case. And try to keep the variable name as much as possible. Okay, and these are the keywords. We have almost 50 plus of keywords generally what we use in our programming language. So appropriately we have a 62 or 60 keywords that we have in Java programming language, but we use most of them are 50 plus keywords in our regular programming. And to use a keyword, so below are these are the some set of rules that need to be followed while to use a keyword. So keywords always will be in a lowercase. So there's no case where you can give your keywords as a capital letter or the uppercase. Okay, and this keyword should not use as a variable name for any data type. Okay, so which is already I mentioned a variable. That's the rule, that we should not use the keyword as a variable name. And space character is mandatory after every keyword. So if you so below are the keywords I mentioned. So if you see, like, we have the keywords like abstract, asset, boolean, break, byte, case, switch, and a lot many. So when you want to use a keyword like abstract or asset or boolean or anything, any keyword from the list, so you should give a space character after using a keyword. And now coming to the data types. So data types are we have different types of data types in Java. So that is int, long, float, double, short, char, byte. Okay, and the boolean. So boolean will hold the value either true, either false. The default value will be a false, and the byte value it will be an integer. It is a 2 complement integer value. So the default value is 0. Character, so it will hold only a single character, so that can be unique coding, ASCII coding, and okay, character that will handle only the single character. Let's say example, here we have a single a character, or the unique coding 0041 or 101. So that it will hold only single character, so it will cannot handle more than one character. Okay, and the short, it's similar to the int data type. So int and short, long are similar data types. Like it will hold the whole numbers like 1 2 3 4, but it will hold the default range. Okay, so if you take the integer data type will have a 32 bits. So it will hold the values here is 2 1 4 7 48 value to negative value to the positive value, and short value is from 32,768 to the positive value to negative value, 32,768 to 32,767. So if you are going to give the value, if you want to assign a value for a short variable, that is 32,768, then it's going to save the value as a minus 32,768. Like as you go beyond the range, it will come back to the negative integers. Like if you save 32768, it will take as a 3276 minus 32768. If you are saving the value of 32769, it will take the value as a 32767. Okay, so it's a cyclic manner. So as you're going beyond the range, it's coming under the minus range. Okay, the same. It's int is for the saving 32 bit, and the long is saving the big numbers, so like a big value. So we can see the range here on the last column, and we have two other data types, that is a float and a double. So float data type and double data type is to save the floating point or the floating points with a decimal number, with a decimals up to we have the float can save up to 7 decimals, and double can save up to the 16 decimals in its value. Okay, and here we can see the range and the examples in the example column. So like if you want to save a value which is precise, like 32.5 and 32.6, 72.5 something with the floating points, then definitely we need to use a float value. Okay, and if the value is more than float range, then we need to use a double value. Okay, double data type. And these are the operators generally we have in the Java and other programming languages as well. But the most of the here in the list is most are common in all the programming languages. So we have I will explain each and every operator in detail. But as of now, I'll be giving the brief introduction for each and every operator. This is assignment operator. Assignment operator and arithmetic assignment operator is like assigning a value or you saving a value. That is called a assignment operator. So unless until you won't give the value to save in a variable, we cannot use that further in any of our operations. Okay, and arithmetic operator is generally we as a term already saying that it's arithmetic. So generally doing the basic calculation like plus or minus, multiplication, division, or modular division. So this kind of operations. And increment decrement operators. So increment decrement operator is nothing but, so if you want to increase your value plus 1, or if you want to decrease the value by minus 1, then you can use by the single statement. So let's say you have a value called 3, and if you want to increase the value, then you can make that as a 4 by using increment operator. If you want to decrease the value of the current variable, then you can decrease by using decrement operator. Okay, and relational operators, which is also called the comparison operators. Like if you are comparing a one variable value with another value, like 2 is greater than or equal to 4, 3 is less than 4, like or equal to, and is equal or not equal. So then that operations comes under the relational operators. And logical operators is there are only three logical operators, that is and, not, or. Okay, and operator, and or operator, and not operator. Let's say we'll be using some conditions. If this is not true, something is not true, then make some operations. Then in that case we'll be using the logical operator, logical not operator. And if you have multiple conditions, like some x should be false and some y should equal to some 0 or 1. Okay, in that case we'll be using the AND logical operator. So I'll give the detail of each and every operator separately with examples and with in detail explanation of each operator. So just I'm giving a brief of this operations and operators. Okay, instance of operator is introduced only in Java. So we have only this operator is only available in Java. So which is like, if you want to check is it integer data type, is it double data type, is it boolean data type, so then we use instance of. Okay, iterary operator, if you talk about different iterary operator, this is also called as conditional operator. So initially, I mean, as I on explaining above operators, I have given some kind of examples, like if you want to check that is some x is not equal to true, then do some operations. Then we are using their if condition. So if x is not equal to true, then do some operations. That is called as conditional operator or ternary operator. Okay, and bitwise operator. So in bitwise operators we'll have operators called left shift, right shift operators, and typecast operators. If you talk about typecast operators, so typecast operators is I mean, we have a different data types, right? Like we have a integer, float, long, double. So these are some data types we have. Now if you want to convert float to integer, we use typecast operator that will cast your float value to integer. Let's take example, you have a temperature value which is 32.6 or 32.8 something, and you want to convert that as a round figure, then or the whole number instead of the floating decimal values. Then if you convert the float value, then that will be converted to the integer using the typecast operator. And the last concept that we need to understand before we go to the programming language is while loop and do while loop, for loop, and lambda expressions. That was only introduced from the Java 8 version, JDK Java 8 version 8. Okay, so generally what is the loops? Loops is like a operation that we do continuously until the condition satisfies. Okay, so you want to do some operation, or like you have a value, you have a value 1 and you want to increase the value till 100. Okay, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to 100. In that cases we generally use the loop conditions. So we cannot use increment operator 100 times, right? So so we have the value equal to x equal to 1, int x equal to 1 example, and you want to make that value equal to 100 using some coding. So in that case you cannot add x plus plus, you cannot use increment operator there. Incrementer operator 100 times to make the value from 1 to 100 or 101. Okay, so in that case what we'll use a while loop or do while loop or for loop and the lambda expressions to do our operations. Okay, so so these are the basic things that we need to understand before going to programming language in detail. So now in coming videos we will see the each and every concept in detail, like what is variable and how the variables will be given, and how the keywords are used, how the data types are used, and how the operators loops are work in the Java. Thanks for listening, friends. Please subscribe the channel.